Okay guys, I found me a little spot. Been scouting around the river bottoms. I'm a little closer to the river than I really would be, but found a little spot to clear off here underneath these trees. Kind of wiggled them all around. They're not too dead folly. Just a bunch of dead trees laying around. I'm gonna clear off a spot, set up my tarp, and maybe build a little fire and cook some lunch. So let's see what happens. Okay guys, so I cleaned off the ground a little bit and I got a small shelter set up. I'm already running into some issues where what I think I would bring on a small bushcraft kit, bug out kit, just a little quick get out of dodge kit, just to make things a little easier, especially down here in the river bottoms, and we'll talk about that soon. Okay, so we're sitting in our little shelter. You know, one thing I'm noticing right off the bat is thinking about my bug out bag and reducing the size of my 8.5 by 12 tarp is a big no way, because this is a grabber space blanket. I got a tree behind me I could lean up against. I don't really have it fully covered if I lean back, but just setting it up the short way so I got a little more height over my head where I can actually sit up. It's tiny. There's no way you got a wife and kid in here. I mean, you guys would be packed, and if I was going to actually lay it to sleep, I'd set it up the long way and then it'd be even less room. So let's just spark up our little fire here. We're not making a big deal. We're not gonna we're probably not gonna let her go too long. We're just looking at you know, getting out and experimenting with your kit and seeing what you got, what is your shortcomings. Right off the bat, I can tell you want some underground, you want something under you. Like, I'm sitting on my schmog right now and my ankle is touching the ground and my ankle is freezing, you know, and my butt feels okay. So I don't have any kind of like dedicated ground cloth, so I'm thinking in my bug out bag I want to make sure I pack maybe, well, I have that wool blanket I could lay on the ground, but maybe something more dedicated as a ground, like a Z-fold mat or two, because they're pretty light. They're a little bulky, but I'm gonna see if I can heat up my shelter a little bit. I wouldn't obviously set my fire up. I mean, I got it like right in the middle of the shelter. You couldn't even lay down, but I'm just sitting here. It's a cold winter day, and we're gonna see. You know, I laid a couple, 2-3 layers of sticks because this sand is a little damp. Of course, you saw me hit that wet fire, and of course those things just burn great. It was all crushed up, and we'll see if it will get this fire going. So let's give it a couple minutes and I'll come back. Okay, so we just got a small little fire going underneath our shelter here. It is about 20 degrees outside. Doesn't feel like it's burning the roof. I think I'm about as small, about as big as a small little fire can be in here, but it is 100% warming up. I feel very hot. I'm out of the wind. I took my hat off. It is definitely cooking in here. I got a small lunch. I might pop that can of corn open and just cook it in my little pot here, and we'll have some lunch and stay toasty in the fort. And we got just our little Maxpedition bag with us. Didn't pack it out exactly the same as the other day, but we got some water. We got some 10Cs. We got a tiny bit of first aid. You know, obviously we got our cover, and we started a small fire. And as I'm talking, guys, this fire, or notice I do have a small Mylar blanket. I'm sitting on it, and then the schmog is underneath my butt, so that is saving me from just freezing on the ground. And then I got this blanket wrapped around my legs, and like I said, where my ankle is touching the ground, I can feel the cold, but where my butt is sitting on the schmog, it feels good. Yeah, the fire is really warming me up. It's making me think, you know, with my larger shelter, my larger tarp, get it strung up right, up against a big tree, I'm thinking, or a big down log as one of the sides, as a lean-to or as a teepee like this. setting the fireplace up, obviously building it up around with rocks and maybe even a small chimney going out the side. I think you'd be able to warm it up. I mean, this little tiny fire has got me cooking, guys. Just a minute ago, yeah, I could see my breath in here, and now I can't. So, little fun experiment. When I get back home, I'm gonna wrap up the video and talk about a little bit of our little adventure. And obviously, I'm not some big professional outdoorsman or nothing. I just really enjoy it. It's tons of fun. Had some training in the military, and you know, I'm getting older, and it's like I'm not gonna bust my butt all day to build a fort just to make a YouTube video. But I want to experiment and see what I can do with limited effort. And of course, you can always do a lot more with more effort. So let's see if I can pop that can of corn open with the can opener on my Swiss Army knife, and we'll see if we can cook some lunch over this fire. All right, guys, we're cooking the corn, but you know, it's so calm. There's no wind. That underneath that tarp, I was just cooking, and I don't know, this fire. It's we're cooking up my corn, and it's just really keeping me warm. I got my hat and gloves off. I'm realizing just a small fire, and of course a big fire would be even better, but just laying by a warm fire and then getting off the ground. Like if I had a Z-fold mat right now that I could lay on instead of this Mylar blanket, which is way better than laying on the ground, I can tell that. Like I can feel the difference, just tens of degrees difference. But that little fire underneath that tarp had me just blazing hot. I was adding more wood to cook corn. Oh, let me get that on camera a little better. Yep. Dumped out the water that was in the can because that's all full of salt, and then added a little more fresh water. And you know, I was wondering if this little fire would really do it. But like, I'm laying on my hat and gloves kind of as a ground cloth with this smog on this Mylar blanket, sitting next to this fire. If I would have set this up as a, I think next time I'm gonna set it up as a as just a lean-to, and then build a backstop and have a little fire. And then it's also making me realize you want to look at the wind. You know, you'd want to set your lean-to up against the wind, so you're out of the wind, but then also so it blows the smoke away from you. And of course that can change, but that's a big factor of making this little fire in the middle of a shelter. Was a terrible idea because the smoke was just, there wasn't even windy in there. It was just that the smoke was going everywhere. So let's see here, guys. I think it's just about time to have a little lunch. Let's see if it's hot. Oh yeah, it's toasty. Put my lid over here on my Mylar blanket. Get my corn off the stove. We still got a little fire going there. We'll probably just let that burn out and dump some water on it and bury it back up with some cold, wet sand. But we're gonna wrap this video up. I'll probably take another clip when I get home and kind of give you my thoughts and ideas on this tiny little experiment, and we'll see what we can improve and do a little better for next time.